feature presentation.
Welcome back to another Untitled movie review or streaming review. I am one of your hosts, Matt Rohrbeck, alongside he's allergic to tomatoes, but he is tomato meter approved, Eric Marchin.
Welcome to Murderville, Matt. Population, homicide detective, Terry Seattle.
Yes, today we are reviewing the new Netflix original Murderville, starring Will Arnett, Haneefah Wood, Lilan Bowden, and Phillip Smithey as Daz. Not that he needed an as credit, but if you guys don't know,
my hug back.
Yeah, it's so if you guys don't know what Murderville is, it's a new Netflix series, 6 episodes. It is a murder mystery series with improv. So the premise is that Will Arnett plays a fictional character named Senior Detective Terry Seattle, and he works
In
it's
homicide.
Not in homicide, obviously. Is it in Seattle? No, is it?
No, it's LA.
No, it's in LA. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that would be even funnier. But anyways, he has the script to the episode. He knows what to do and go through this kind of murder that's set up. But each episode, they bring in a new celebrity guest star who has to improv the entire episode while trying to solve a murder mystery. So think of it as part escape room, part kind of, if you've ever had a murder mystery night with your friends where someone is murdered and you all have to figure it out and you all have to improv with one another and get clues and different things. But essentially the premise is each episode, Will Arnett, there's a continuing storyline with him throughout the series and the other people at the police station. And then each episode, a new celebrity comes in and they go in and interview 3 different suspects, as well as checking out the crime scene at the beginning. So it's kind of split into 4 segments,
and it gives you clues throughout. For it's kind of an interactive game show as well, where you have the clues that are given at the crime scene and the suspects each giving you certain clues, and you're basically on the side of the celebrity partner, and for them to kind of like figure out, okay, who is responsible for this. And I found that it was funny to an extent, but I do think it is very light in terms of like what it's bringing to the table. Like it's one of those shows where you watch it, it's an easy digestible kind of show that's only about a half an hour in length. It's very formulaic once you kind of get the lay of the land after the first episode, which is with Conan O'Brien. But there's something about it as well where it's just kind of like it feels extraneous. It feels like one of those Netflix shows that is like there to like add additional padding. It's
sure.
Like, let's get all these celebrities and do this kind of weird thing that's kind of a hybrid of sort of reality TV with game show with kind of a police procedural all mixed together. It's well shot. Like I was expecting, because I didn't watch any of the trailers or anything like that, but I was kind of expecting it to kind of be almost like a hidden camera kind of thing, but it actually looks like
they format each episode to look like a cop show, right? And like that they are put in these situations and it's shot like it would be, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or whatever. And it's based on a series called Murder in Successville, which was on BBC 3. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like I really enjoyed it for the most part. And I think if you like puzzles and murder mysteries, and even though the murder mystery is light, that's why I like to compare it more to like an escape room. Like that's how I kind of envisioned this. Like each one of these are an escape room. You go into 3 different rooms. They give you clues. The person that you're interviewing, it's still comedic because they'll have guest actors come in to play like character actors from comedies you'll recognize.
David Wayne, Rob Hubble. You have 2 Mad TV alumni in the last episode with Phil Lamar and Nicole Sullivan.
Yep. So you'll get people like that, and they come in, and it's like it's scripted and not scripted. So the person who's the suspect will obviously lean towards giving you the clues of if they did or did not do it in some of their dialogue, but then it does rely on the guest stars. And I think it's like, depending on the guest star and how much they buy into it and how much they give into it, like you'll get varying results throughout the series. So like I think it was fun to try to go, oh, can I solve this? Did I get it right? Did I find the right clues? Did I do this? Like that part, I think it's very kind of slight and kind of, compared to something like The After Party or Knives Out or something like that, that is a bigger murder mystery, more elaborate, trying to maybe be a bit more clever, where this is that kind of more puzzle element where if you get it, you probably will get it. If you get the kind of what Eric said, like the repetitive nature of it, you might go, oh, I know what to look for now, and things like that after that first episode. And then I think when it comes to the guest stars, what I was most interested after watching the whole thing is the people I thought would be the worst were the best, and the people that I thought would be the best at it weren't necessarily the worst, but they were the most okay. So we won't spoil any of the mysteries and things like that. There are some recurring gags that I think were really funny throughout the series.
There is one that is excellent, and it kind of is like the sort of the main through line for Terry Seattle's motivation, and it kind of wraps it up in the final episode.
And we talk about cliches in our 355 review, where I think this does a good job with some of the cliches of cop shows and things like that, and pokes fun at them with these recurring gags, with the like him getting a divorce and his partner being murdered, and there's
him having to live in his office
and they're repetitive things like that, are things that come up in each episode that don't have anything to do with the guest star. That is kind of a through line that I think will keep you engaged with the overall premise. But what I was saying earlier is like Marshawn Lynch, which is the second episode, I believe, right? Yeah. He was someone where I originally I know who Marshawn Lynch is, but I'm like, is Marshawn Lynch going to be good at this? I don't know much about Marshawn Lynch. And I will say he seemed fully invested, and I kind of had a blast with his episode. And I would say Sharon Stone, another one of those people that I was like, oh, I like Sharon Stone, but I'm like, is she going to be good at improv comedy? And I would say Marshawn Lynch and Sharon Stone go full on commit to it, and I think are very, very funny in that first season. And then you have people like the other guest stars being Kumail Nanjiani, Conan O'Brien, Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek, and did I say Ken Jeong? Ken Jeong is in the final episode, and I thought that Conan and Kumail, who I thought would be the best at it, I don't think they were necessarily bad, but it almost felt like Conan in that first episode was still kind of figuring out the format and didn't know exactly when to play into it, when not to. And then Kumail, I thought, had some very funny moments, but as well, someone you'd think would be more familiar with, comedy and improv. But I don't know how you felt with the cast in general.
Yeah, I would say that Marshawn Lynch and Sharon Stone are the highlights. I think Sharon Stone has a couple of really good moments where she'll walk into Terry's office, and she basically closes the door with the back of her foot, and him trying to sell her on this sludge milkshake thing is funny.
That's another thing. Each episode kind of has a Terry Seattle kind of plot line as well.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Conan I find really kind of fascinating is that while you're watching it, I think Conan's experience as a talk show host and as a former SNL and Simpsons writer, I think it almost kind of feels like he's in on the script, or he's better at sort of kind of going with the flow, where it almost kind of feels like
playing the character rather than playing the comedy.
Yeah, where he does crack up at times, and I think some of the best stuff throughout all of the episodes are when
people crack. Yeah.
It's like on SNL when you have and a lot of these scenes are skits basically.
Totally. Yeah.
Or when they're kind of breaking character, or when Will Arnett is
who tries to hide it with his mustache in his hand every time he laughs,
and it's just the way he does it, and when Conan's eating this sloppy Joe hot sauce thing and this margarita, or
slopperita,
which is actually very funny, or when he's telling Kumail Nanjiani how to walk down the hallway to be cool.
I thought that whole sequence in the locker room was very funny. I like that actor who played like the former jock. I thought that was really funny.
He's living on his boat. Or like even like when he's talking to Sharon Stone about you know, like, you know, when you're interviewing somebody, you want to be appear to be empathetic, but what you're really thinking about is the diner still open, and whether or not he actually deserved it because he's a loudmouth. And then like you see Sharon Stone for a moment, they're like, she's just like, God.
Yeah.
But like even her commitment in like the third scene in her episode, is phenomenal. Like she really
she was the best, I think.
But it was it's a good time waster.
It's fluff, don't get me wrong, like it's not must see TV.
No, but it is one of those shows, I guess, like if they were to do another season, like it almost does feel like everybody that is the guest on each episode is doing a favor almost. Weirdly, it's like they're kind of like cashing in on it, like, okay, well, you know, like I'll do this because you helped me do this other thing this one time. And I think if it does continue, I think the most kind of interesting thing is like the possibility of like, who else could you have?
And will you have people volunteer because they liked the idea of it?
Right.
Maybe, right? Like they saw the first season and go, oh, that would be a lot of fun to do. And then kind of you find people who really want to be part of it. Like, no offense to Annie Murphy, but like I felt like she just felt uncomfortable throughout the whole thing to me.
I did like when she was kind of like laughing
undercover,
like
that was mustache good too. Yeah. Like I love Annie Murphy 2. And like, that was really good. And that's a recurring gag too, right? Like that was funny to see. And you referenced a PlayStation 2 in our convo with Greg, which you guys can check out, 113 of the Untitled Movie Podcast. But yeah, like I thought Sharon Stone crushed it. I thought Marshawn Lynch was very funny. That was unexpected. And then Ken Jeong, the amount he cracks up, I thought was really funny. Like again, talking about someone who breaks, and he broke at every single thing, which could be grating on some people, but like I found it just really funny that no matter what he said or did or what someone else did, he just cracked up.
Great Liam Neeson.
Yeah. See, and there are like bits like that I am excited to see a season 2 of this and what guest stars that they bring in. But I don't disagree with you that it does feel like well, let's just do this. Like, yeah, we'll give them a little bit of a budget and just make this zany kind of murder mystery show. Murder mysteries are hot right now, Eric.
So hot. I mean, we're getting so many of them. But I will say as well, like even though visually speaking, it's a lot better than you would expect for this kind of like game show
skit
improv
kind of
thing to be. You can tell that, like, you know, again, it being an improv show and the guest star not having a script to work from or not knowing what's going on, that you can tell that there's a lot of kind of room for both the editing and the blocking in sort of the camera movements, where like you'll see in the first episode, like, you know, Conan will step in a direction and
that he's not really supposed to,
and he'll be blocking the camera, so they'll have to like cut quickly,
or they'll bring him
move
over,
because it almost looks like steady cam or handheld a lot of the times, because they have to kind of like anticipate that they have somebody that isn't familiar with what is going on within the scene.
Or there's little things of being, Conan, come here closer or whatever, because they have to bring him closer, and they do let things play out. Like it doesn't really seem like. It seems like it's probably a very easy series to do, even though they either went to these sets or built these sets, but like they let these things play out. And it seems like it was the first take on a lot of these things. Like they didn't make them redo anything because they want those natural reactions and stuff. Like that's what I was kind of surprised with, was like, oh yeah, it's very much like each one of these sequences is one go. Like no matter what you do, unless they like completely break, I'm assuming they let them come back and finish or whatever, as I almost break my desk.
Icebreakers.
But yeah, I had fun with it. I do think that it's a light kind of fun watch. I wouldn't say that you need to rush out and watch it, but if you're intrigued by the premise, I think you'll have a moderately fun time with it. Like it was a perfect like before bed show, if that makes any sense. Like throw on an episode, watch, kind of laugh. you might laugh more at one episode than the next. And then you get to have, like, if you're watching it with someone, I watched it with Nevis a lot of the times, and, you can talk about who you think is going to be the killer, and then they do like a fun reveal. Like Conan in the magician outfit was really funny, and like the way that they would do the reveal of who you thought the killer was is like a fun thing. And it is very much a game to the people on it. Like they might get it right or they might get it wrong, and then they tell them their reasoning, and then the format is the same every episode, but it is fun to see who gets it, who doesn't. And I think that who's playing it for comedy or who's playing it for, I want to figure out who the murderer is, right? And I think you get varying degrees of success there. So, yeah, I think it's a fun series. Like if it's a hard thing to like put a star rating on, but like I'll give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Like I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable, and I would watch a season 2.
Yeah, I mean, I could go honestly, I could go like 3 or even 2, but I think I'll be kind of kinder to it and go 3, partly because I also think Will Arnett is very funny, and like
Yeah.
I do like him in this kind of role. And there are moments where, like, even again in the high school reunion episode with Kumail Nanjiani, when he yells at that his high school flame, quote unquote, it reminded me of his character in Hot Rod when he yells, "Babe, wait, babe."
Yeah. And he has a lot of that. You hear Lego Batman in there a lot too, in the way that the deep gravelly voice, and like, yeah, each episode I think has enough bits or enough laughs. And even if the person struggles through certain moments, like, I don't know, like I think it's better than not good. So I'm glad you gave it a 3, because like to me, I enjoyed it a little bit more than that, and I would watch more of it. And I'm sure it's a very easy show to make. Maybe
Yes.
creating the puzzles and stuff is I don't know how hard that stuff is, but I guess I'm sort of trying to do that now with writing on
Do you think they'll
Family
franchise
Feud,
it,
but
Matt, and make Tommy Tuxedo action figures?
yeah. I mean, who knows? This is the American version. Are we gonna get it? I mean, I guess Annie Murphy already on here, but like, this obviously adapting the British version of it,
Which is like,
but,
Whose Line Is It Anyways?
yeah.
Where like that started off as a British series and then came over to the US.
Yeah. So who knows if we'll get other countries adapting this? But yeah, Murder Mystery is hot right now. How many of them did you get? Without spoiling anything, did you try at all, or like I got quite a few of them. I found them to be, even if I didn't get all of the clues, I kind of had a good idea based on like one thing that I noticed or something like that.
I think it also kind of depended. Like, I mean, obviously there's one episode where you can't, because the one actor. I don't want to spoil anything, but like I almost feel like the one thing that doesn't work for it is if you cast people that, or if you recognize certain comedians in the suspect roles, and that kind of is a giveaway. Like like if you don't know who they are, I think it's easier to kind of get lost in the mystery. But
Sure, yeah.
if it's somebody that you recognize, then there's a likelihood that it could be that person. And there's a couple times where it's like, okay, yes, it is that person. Oh,
Sure.
it is that person. And
that's fair. That's an interesting way of thinking of it too. But yeah, I think you guys should check it out. It's available February 3rd on Netflix. I think all 6 episodes will probably drop. That's usually what Netflix does. So check it out. Let us know what you think. We have other reviews that we would love for you guys to check out as well. We have a review, if you like murder mysteries, The After Party. You guys should check out our review of the first 3 episodes. And then that's also streaming on Apple TV Plus weekly. So the first 3 episodes are out right now. I think we have a review of Knives Out that you guys can go back and listen to, Murder on the Orient Express.
Well, we'll probably also have a review coming up for the Disney Plus movie that'll be released on Hulu in the US and probably star here, No Exit, which is also looks like a whodunit, but instead of the murder mystery, it's who's the kidnapper, and this woman basically guessing who the kidnapper is in this Snowden situation.
Interesting. 5 Creams out now too, which is kind of a murder mystery as well.
Yep.
Most Scream movies are, so a whodunit. So so hot right now. So you guys can check all those out. We have reviews up for the 355, 355, which you guys can check out. We also reviewed Pam and Tommy, which you guys can check out, which we really, really enjoyed, which is streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu in the US as well. And also the aforementioned 113th episode of the Untitled Movie Podcast, where we talked to Greg Miller of Kind of Funny about video game movies, Ghostbusters, being a new father, and much more. So you guys should check that out. Just search for Untitled Movie Podcast or Untitled Movie Reviews on YouTube and podcast services. We have a conversation up. What did we talk about, Eric? We talked about a trailer, right? Moon Knight trailer. And we might do some conversations coming up for some other trailers that dropped that I wouldn't mind talking to Eric. So
or even
we're
going to Scream
spoiler cast should be fun. Yeah, we should do a Scream spoiler cast for sure. So you guys can check those out on
just
the
thinking like Will
channel.
Arnett as Terry Seattle in a Scream movie would be pretty good.
Would be good. One-stop shop for everything. Just go to Untitled_movies over on Letterboxd, not podcast services. Letterboxd Untitled_movies. You can find everything there. That's probably the easiest spot to find us. As always, my name is Matt Rohrbeck. You can find more of my work around the internet, but mostly at UntitledMoviePodcast.com. And you can follow me on all those social medias at Matt Rohrbeck.
And I'm Eric Marchand. You can find more of my video reviews on RogersTV.com/CinemaScene and on the social medias at EM6211.
Until next time.
Icebreakers.